Hello, this is SharpShot21. Figured today we go over some of the tools for the Sharps Garage series, both the motorcycle, the Mini, and the BMW, so this is going to go on all of them. It'll be the first one in the BMW, probably second one in the Mini, and third one, I think, in the motorcycle. Just going to go over some of the tools in the toolbox, some of the other ones we're going to need, ones I'm going to have to pick up. So let's get right into it. This is a 44-inch US General toolbox from Harbor Freight. Really nice toolbox, actually. So don't be fooled that it's a Harbor Freight toolbox. It's really nice. Top drawer, I've got sockets, ratchets, T-handles. Yes, it's disorganized. I'm working on getting some organizers for it. A couple of specialty tools in here. This is a serpentine belt tool used to pull, or used to adjust the tensioner on a serpentine belt system in most cars. It's really handy because it's got a lot of leverage on it. And in this case, I actually really like this. My dad, who's got a snap-on one, prefers this to his snap-on one. It is a Husky 3/8 inch, memory serves. Yep. 3/8 inch ratcheting torque wrench, click type. I think I paid $80 for this thing, $90 for it, and picked them up at Home Depot. Lifetime guarantee. It does metric, so Newton meters on one side, it's foot-pounds on the other. You always store these things decompressed, and then to adjust your torque setting, you pull this collar down, and you spin. And if you're using foot-pounds, you use the upper numbers. If you're using Newton meters, you use the lower numbers. So say we wanted to do 40. You find the 40 line, and the 0 line lines up with the one in the middle, and then that's 40 foot-pounds. Really nice, but you always store them detuned. That way they maintain their accuracy, because there's a spring inside, and that spring can get broken. It loses its tension. Another tool I've recently picked up is this Motion Pro T-handle. It's the 2nd gen, so it's got this little step here, so it's got a built-in swivel, which is nice. It also free spins quite nicely. One thing I'm going to pick up quite a few more of are these Pittsburgh Pro Series ratchets from Harbor Freight. Their clicks are fairly small increments. The on and off is nicely labeled, and they're just a little bit bigger than my Husky ones, so you get a little bit more leverage out of it. The other thing with these Husky ones is, in order to get it on, you can't just push. You've got to push the little detent and then put it on, and then it locks, which is handy, but I'm more used to just being able to take the socket and clip it on, pull it off. Most of the tools in here were from a Husky. I think it was a 400-piece set. The specialty tools like the serpentine belt tool or the Motion Pro were not. Same with the Pittsburgh. The Husky set comes with 2 spark plug sockets, which is really handy. Covers most of your common sizes of spark plug. The special thing with a spark plug socket is it's got a little rubber gripper inside, so that it clicks onto the top of the spark plug and you're not going to have to go fishing for the spark plug. This is a special spark plug socket for the Mini. It's a thin wall and a 12 or 14 point, because the mini spark plugs are not your standard 6-point spark plugs. I think that's it for up here. Over here is SAE wrenches, ranging from 1/4 inch to 1 1/8". And then there's also these gear wrenches, which are spline drive for some reason, and they range from 3/8 to 3/4. Next drawer down is all the metrics. They start at 5.5 millimeter, and they run all the way up to 27. And then I've got metric gear wrenches that start at 10 millimeter and run all the way up to 18 millimeter. This drawer is kind of empty. Got some miscellaneous stuff. I like these nitrile gloves from Harbor Freight. These are the 7mm ones. The 9s are a little thick and the 5s are a little thin. The 7s aren't bad. I always have a roll of aluminum foil just for covering exhaust headers and stuff when I'm doing oil changes on motorcycles. That way it keeps the oil from getting on there and discoloring it and sticking. Down in this drawer, I've got, down in this drawer, I've got my Milwaukee drill. It's an M12. An electric impact and metric and US impact sockets. This drawer has a couple specialty tools. This red case is a compression tester. Comes with several different adapters. The hose plugs into the gauge, the adapters screw onto the hose, you screw the whole assembly into a spark plug hole, crank the engine a few times. If the engine's working right, the needle on the gauge climbs up, tells you how much compression the engine builds. Useful for trying to at least start a diagnosis on an engine. This tool is a cheap tool, because this was, the compression tester was off of Amazon. I think I paid 20 bucks for it, 30 bucks for it. This is another Amazon Chinese tool. Not that there's anything wrong with Chinese tools. This is the timing belt, or the cam locking set for the mini engine. This one works on both the N12 and the N14 engines, I believe. Or the N14 and the N18, I forget which. I'll put links to most of this stuff in the video description. We'll show you this on the engine here once we start breaking it down a little bit further. But you've got this tool and this part clipped together, and each one slides over either the intake or the exhaust cam to lock it in place. This tool locks into the flywheel to keep that from spinning, and then this tool is used to set the preload on the chain tensioner. Let's see. Okay, we've got another couple of tools. This is another torque wrench. This one is in inch pounds, goes from 0 to 80 inch pounds, also does newton meters, goes from 0 to 9 newton meters. The other one doesn't go quite as low. Little grunge brush for doing motorcycle chain cleaning. Super, super useful. And then I haven't tried this yet actually, but I picked this up. It's a little exhaust plug for motorcycles for when you're doing or when you're washing the bike to keep you from spraying water into your exhaust system. Let's see what else. Alright. The Pittsburgh tool. These can all be bought at Harbor Freight. This is a 4-pound dead blow hammer. What's nice about these is they're actually filled with shot, so when you hit something, the hammer doesn't bounce back at you. This is a Harbor Freight disc brake toolkit. It's kind of clamp for, hold on. Sorry about that. This is a Harbor Freight disc brake toolkit. This is for resetting the pistons in your disc brake calipers. It's kind of like a reversed C-clamp. You take this bit, you slide this over, and this goes on one side of your caliper, spaced out. You find the appropriate shoe. Sometimes you need the flat surface, other times you need the one with the pin. You line it up, you put the pin and the piston on the other side, crank on it with a wrench, and then you crank on it with the handle, and you can spread out the caliper pistons that way. Really useful to have. Probably worked fairly decently on a motorcycle. I haven't had to do motorcycle brakes yet. Very helpful for cars. Saves pistons, saves calipers, saves you money, and most of all, saves you a lot of time. Let's see. And here we've got a couple channel lock pliers, a couple of oil filter strap wrenches. I prefer these over this type. This type doesn't always grip enough, whereas a strap wrench, when you pull on it, it actually tightens down. So if you're trying to take a filter off, you pull, and if you look, the radius gets smaller. Very useful for oil filters, for cartridge type filters on the outside. And then this is kind of a miscellaneous drawer. I've got Allen wrenches, or Allen keys, I might call them sometimes, and Imperial and metric. Various screwdriver tips for the Husky screwdriver, and various socket tips for the same. This little guy is a battery terminal brush and clamp cleaner. Kind of useful, handy to have. This is a battery terminal socket, ratchet combination. Has two common sizes for terminal bolts. Low enough profile that you can get it on most terminal bolts. Not necessary, but handy. And this is a really cheap battery terminal puller. You back this out, open it up, clamp it under the battery terminal, and then you crank it in and it pulls the terminal off. Doesn't always work, but handy to have. And a set of safety glasses, which I should probably wear more than I do. A couple of specialty tools that we're going to need for the Mini. Got a set of these in my box. These are Torx sockets. So they go into Torx head bolts. Useful to have. These are a little different. These are what are, I call them E-type. They're external Torx. So, let's see. They've got basically the reverse of a Torx head on the inside. So the bolt has the Torx head, this goes on the bolt. Mini likes to use these a lot on all of the fasteners on the motor of this car, basically. I mean, some of the external ones are standard hex head sockets, but a lot of the internal ones are E-type. So I think that's just about it for all the super specialty tools for the moment. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below, shoot me a message. We will go over some more things in detail when I need them, like the torque wrenches. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. If you liked it, please hit like. If you got questions, please comment down below. I'll get to them. And please hit subscribe. We're going to start digging into the Mini pretty good here. And I got some more motorcycle stuff coming, but only 1 or 2 videos. And then it's going to be garage stuff for the winter and car vlogs. Alright. Hope to see you next time. New videos are posted every Monday and Thursday at 8 AM Eastern. Please subscribe for notifications of when those go up. Thank you all for watching.